Rain cascaded down as though the heavens themselves were weeping that morning, cleansing the fractured pavements and exhausted faces of the metropolis in shimmering trails. Ethan Powell raced through the urban streets, gripping his battered briefcase, his pulse thundering not merely from the physical exertion, but from the gravity of what this day represented. This wasn't simply another job interview. This was the interview. Following years of disappointment, countless overnight shifts, and struggling to provide meals for his young daughter, this represented his singular opportunity to finally establish a secure existence. The minutes were racing toward 9 a.m. If he could simply arrive on time, his entire world could transform. Yet destiny, it appeared, possessed a twisted sense of irony. Midway through the block, precisely as the imposing corporate tower emerged into sight, a weak cry cut through the rainfall. Ethan decelerated, surveying the deserted sidewalk. There, positioned near the intersection, a fragile elderly woman lay unmoving. Her shopping bags had scattered. A broken umbrella rested at her side. Vehicles rushed past. Pedestrians hurried by, not a single soul pausing. She was struggling for breath, grasping her chest, pleading for assistance that nobody appeared to acknowledge. Ethan stood paralyzed for an instant, divided between his future and his humanity. His mind demanded, "Go." Yet his conscience murmured, "Stop." Half a minute of internal conflict. Then he reached his decision. He cast aside his briefcase, lifted the shaking woman into his embrace, and sprinted. Rain penetrating his shirt, chest aching, muscles protesting toward the closest hospital 3 blocks distant. And if you believe that generosity and second opportunities can still transform lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because what unfolds next will demonstrate to you that empathy never remains invisible. Ethan exploded through the emergency entrance, crying out for assistance. Medical staff surged forward, transferring the woman onto a stretcher, connecting monitors, requesting oxygen. He remained standing there, drenched, breathless, observing as they transported her away. For the first moment that morning, the consequences of his actions struck him. His shirt was adhering to his body, his footwear made wet sounds, and his briefcase, his sole professional anchor, remained abandoned somewhere on the rain-soaked pavement. He examined his phone. 9:18 a.m. He had missed his appointment. Completely, irreparably missed it. He collapsed into a plastic seat in the reception area, face buried in his palms. All he could envision was his little girl, Lily, 7 years of age, waiting at their residence with her backpack mended in 3 locations and footwear one size inadequate. She had embraced him before his departure that morning, murmuring, "Good luck, Daddy. We're going to be okay, right?" He had beamed, assuring her of a brighter future. Now that assurance seemed destroyed. Following what seemed like an eternity, a nurse came near, smiling warmly. "She's stabilized now. You rescued her life." Ethan acknowledged with a nod, too exhausted to respond verbally. He departed silently, trudging back through the downpour, each footfall more burdensome than the previous. The corporate structure rose ahead, but his image in the glass entrance resembled nothing like the man who'd rehearsed for weeks. His necktie had vanished, his attire was saturated, his optimism depleted. Nevertheless, he entered. Perhaps, just perhaps, someone would listen to his explanation. He attempted to clarify to the front desk attendant, voice quivering, but the courteous expression and rehearsed regret were his only response. "I'm sorry, sir. The interview committee has already finished for today." He stood there powerless, witnessing the elevator doors seal shut on the existence he could have possessed. That evening, Ethan positioned himself by the window of his cramped apartment, gazing at the rain once more. Lily was resting on the sofa, clutching her plush bear. He murmured to himself, "Maybe this is who I am. A man who aids others but never aids himself." Yet somewhere within, something inside him declined to feel remorse for his decision. The following morning, a knock caught him off guard. He answered the door to discover a crisply attired man in a charcoal suit. "Mr. Ethan Powell?" the man inquired. "I'm from Grayson Industries. Mr. Grayson would like to meet with you immediately." Ethan stared in astonishment. Grayson Industries? That was the exact corporation whose interview he'd failed to attend. He reached the soaring glass structure once again, pulse racing. The receptionist, the identical one from the previous day, glanced up with startled eyes. "Oh, Mr. Powell, They're anticipating you. Please proceed right inside." He was escorted into an expansive office commanding a view of the city. Behind an elegant mahogany workstation sat Richard Grayson, the CEO, a man recognized for his merciless effectiveness and steel-like reputation. Yet his demeanor, as he regarded Ethan, wasn't harsh. It was something different, something gentler. "Mr. Powell," Grayson commenced, his resonant voice composed but resolute. "Yesterday, you failed to appear for your interview. My personnel informed me of the reason." Ethan swallowed hard, uncertain how to respond. "You transported a 75-year-old woman to the hospital," Grayson proceeded, rising gradually. "That woman was my mother." Ethan became motionless. The chamber grew silent apart from the rhythmic ticking of a far-off clock. "She spoke to me about you," Grayson stated, his eyes moistening just faintly. "She said you didn't waver, that you decided to rescue her without understanding who she was or what it might demand of you." He approached closer, offering his hand. "I've constructed my career on recruiting people who pursue success. But perhaps what this corporation genuinely requires are people who pursue what's correct. The position is yours if you'll accept it." Ethan's throat constricted. For a moment, language abandoned him. He grasped the CEO's hand, tears blending with incredulity. "Thank you, sir," he ultimately breathed. That day signaled the dawn of a new era. Ethan didn't merely secure the job, he flourished. His integrity, empathy, and dedication rapidly elevated him to one of the company's most valued managers. He relocated into a modest but comfortable home with Lily, where joy displaced the remnants of hardship. Occasionally, he'd visit Mrs. Grayson, the woman whose existence had become woven with his through fate. They'd gather in her garden drinking tea, exchanging tales of missed opportunities and fresh starts. She addressed him as the son I never had. Months elapsed, and one afternoon as he journeyed home from his workplace, he observed a man fallen near the transit stop. Without deliberation, Ethan hurried to assist. The man gazed up weakly, smiling. "You're the guy from the news, aren't you? The one who rescued that elderly lady." Ethan laughed quietly. Just someone who was fortunate enough to be in the right place. He assisted him upward, not for recognition, but because compassion had evolved into part of his character. Because occasionally the most modest act of kindness generates ripples we cannot perceive. Ripples that discover their path back to us when we're least prepared for them. If this narrative moved your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to help circulate more narratives of kindness, hope, and humanity. Every modest gesture of support helps preserve these stories alive. And before you depart, inform us in the comments, would you have reached the same decision as Ethan that day? Because ultimately, what characterizes us isn't the instances of achievement. It's the instances when we select kindness, even when nobody's observing. Ethan Powell's narrative demonstrates to us that life possesses a peculiar method of compensating those who guide with their hearts. What he believed was the most devastating day of his life evolved into the pivotal moment that altered everything. And as he settled his daughter into bed each evening, observing her slumber peacefully in a home brimming with warmth, he'd whisper the identical words he once questioned. "We're going to be okay." And they genuinely were.